Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something really quite special, a space fictional or fictional space from 1989 by H. Avni Öztopçu. Our goal here is to explore how an artist takes, well, abstract concepts, pure thought really, and somehow makes them visible, tangible. How do you turn the invisible into art? And maybe what does that tell us about how you see the world around you?
It's a fascinating starting point. And the philosophy behind it, well, it hinges on this idea that consciousness is always of something. But here's the kicker, that something doesn't actually need to be, out there. It doesn't need external existence. And that's what the artist taps into, this human ability to build a fictional space purely from the mind.
Okay, but why? Why go abstract? What's the human need behind creating these worlds that aren't, well, physically real?
That takes us to Wilhelm Wöhringer. He had this idea, this theory, that abstract art isn't just like a stylistic choice. It's more fundamental. It perhaps arises from a kind of deep human unease, what he called spiritual spatial anxiety, when we face the sheer complexity, the chaos of the external world. So art becomes a search for peace, maybe, for security. It's a way to bring things closer to absolute values.
Yeah.
It might start as instinct, but then it evolves, becoming something driven by knowledge, by intellect. So it's like building a mental sanctuary. That makes sense. But practically speaking, how does an artist build a space that doesn't exist? What are the actual tools, the building blocks?
Well, if you think about Kant's view, time and space aren't really things in themselves. They're more like the underlying possibilities for how things can be ordered and arranged.
The structure, yeah.
The framework.
Exactly. So the artist creates this fictional space
Yeah.
by precisely arranging the elements line, color, plane, the basics. And this leans heavily on our very human ability to objectify things. Objectify, meaning giving an external form to internal thoughts or concepts. Animals don't seem to do this. They stay within their immediate environment. We project outwards.
That's a powerful difference. Okay, so inside this constructed space, what makes the forms actually visible? What's the key technique?
Contrast. Fundamentally, it's all about contrast. I mean, for anything to be seen, it needs to differ from its surroundings, right? Quantitative or qualitative opposition. And this artist, Oztopcu, specifically sought out extreme points of contrast. Think sharp versus soft, light versus dark. The goal was clarity, precision, solidity. Definitely moving away from anything soft, hazy, vague. It had to be distinct.
Okay, extreme contrast. How did that play out with color and form specifically?
Right, so color was handled very deliberately using hue, value of the lightness or darkness, and saturation, its intensity. Think the Munsell system.
Yeah.
Initially, strong value contrast, light against dark, was really dominant. And interestingly, sometimes the dark felt active, sometimes the light. Later, hue and saturation were brought in more forcefully for what the artist called thermal excitation.
Thermal excitation, like heat.
Yeah, a kind of vibrancy, a warmth, rejecting a muted, sort of inert look. As for forms, they shifted from quite geometric patterns towards freer, more abstract, almost plant-like shapes, but always within that self-contained imaginary space.
There's this other idea mentioned, determination versus indetermination. That sounds like a paradox. How can something be clear and unclear at the same time?
It does sound tricky, yeah. But think of it like this. Individual forms are often rendered with determination. They're clear, sharp, you see their edges distinctly. But the overall meaning of the whole piece, the composition, might be left deliberately open with a sense of indetermination.
So you see the shapes clearly, but what they mean together is ambiguous.
Exactly. It challenges you, the viewer. It invites you to engage, to find pleasure in figuring out something complex. Keeps a bit of mystery alive, even when the parts are clear.
Giving you the puzzle pieces, but not the box lid picture. Okay. What about placement? How are things arranged on the canvas?
You often see elements kind of clinging to the edges. It makes the painting feel really connected to its frame, but also strangely open, like the surface is breathing the air around it. Sections within the work can feel quite independent, choosing their own spot. And direction is key too. That contrast between vertical and horizontal is used deliberately. Often one direction will dominate, creating tension, not just static balance.
Can we connect this to specific artworks? Just briefly, how do we see these ideas in practice?
Sure. Two windows, for instance. That was a key moment where contrast expanded right out to the edges. The torch really pushed linear sharpness, removing almost all recognizability. The title's your only clue. Then the leaves introduced more diffusion, that sense of breathing we talked about, opening the surface up. And later, the red series used geometric forms but ramped up the color intensity, really hiding any obvious link to real-world objects. They show the evolution quite well.
It's been quite a deep dive into this fictional space. When we pull back, what's the big picture here?
I think the main takeaway is that art isn't just about copying reality. It's a profound act of creation. It shows the human mind's incredible power to build worlds, find structure, and crucially, make abstract thoughts visible and tangible. It's about giving form to an inner vision.
So think about this for yourself. How does your own mind work? How do you process information, order things, shape your own understanding of reality? Is the reality you experience every day maybe also a kind of fictional space built from your unique way of seeing? What abstract idea will you choose to objectify next?